Hello. Good morning, everyone. As you start coming on in, it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday morning. I'm Nick Paro, and we're here on Sick of This Shit Publications. I'm joined by my good friend Walter Rhein. As we come back every week, like we do on Tuesdays. Sorry, I keep thinking it's Wednesday. On Tuesdays, every Tuesday, Walter and I come back for notes of the week. Um, and today it's just the two of us. We're closing out the year. This will be um, we'll talk about if we're going to do a show next week. We probably will, maybe, depending on how we feel. We'll see how we both feel next week. And we're just here to hang out and have a great time and give everybody a look back. We're going to be talking about releasing the truth. We've got a theme for our notes today, but we also just want to have, like we did last week, maybe a little bit of relaxation first and chill out and do some fun discussion that isn't quite as serious. Give people a little bit of a break. Walter, how are you today?
Good. We've had a round of the fevers in our house and some coughing, but I'm doing better today than yesterday. And it's so good to see you. I got to see you again last week, and even so, it still feels like it's been 10 years since we talked. There's just
Yeah,
so much going on right now, and hope everybody's ready for a nice holiday. Try to get a break. I'm trying to publish more kind of friendly, fun content this week, but geez, I mean, there's just so much going on. So a lot of it needs to be addressed. I appreciate having the opportunity to talk about it with you today, Nick.
yeah, I'm glad. I love I love getting to have this show with you because it's centering for both of us, and it's grounding. And Walter and I are talking in the background about how we can hang out even more and get even more friends out. We did a show, was it last week that we talked with Evan?
I think
We did
so.
it.
Gosh, I don't even know. I get lost. There's so much.
Yeah.
One day is enough. I just get through the day, get the kids
Yeah.
home,
Each week feels like
have
a
food.
year.
Yeah, it does. Holy cow.
It's so crazy. Last week, though, we spoke with Evan Fields and Dr. Eric Lulov for what I called it while we did it was a bro show. And we just had sort of this new manosphere show where we just talked and
Yeah.
Evan let out his feels because he's going through a really hard time right now. And we sat and we helped him and we hung out with him and we gave him positive, constructive feedback that he could use to move forward and not just dwell on like
Yeah. Yeah.
negativity, but also how he could recenter himself and remind himself of who he was and um, care about himself in the process. And I thought it was really fun, and we got so much good feedback.
Good. Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the on that discussion last week? How'd you
Oh,
feel after it?
uh, it was so much bravery there, and just one of my thoughts though is how we're just kind of like in this new. It's like the Model T, It's like a positive masculinity in the United States is just in its introductory phases, and it needs. So I think hopefully 10 years down the line, it will look like a modern vehicle, and we'll look back at that first episode as like the Model T. But there's so much to build on and so much that needs to be said, and it's really exciting. And I, just it resonates. Sometimes you have these conversations that resonate, and there's more and more things you realize, and it's just how much of our society is designed to just capitalize on that deceitful power of hate and anger and frustration. If I'm just like, oh, Nick, those people are messing with you, they're your enemies, and you get that kind of surge of like a false sense of loyalty and like a false sense of friendship. But really, people who are saying things like that are just trying to manipulate you. They're taking away the powers to have a productive, happy life and trading it for rage. And then, your only association is with the other people that are in this hate cult with you. And that represents so much of what is around. And just like
Mm-hmm.
having productive conversations so that we can have stronger and better and healthier relationships is so important. And the fact that so much of American society thinks that's weakness, or they equate that with weakness, it's really sad. And that's why parents aren't, I mean, particularly fathers aren't good husbands. They aren't good role models to their kids. They don't know, and they all want to be. They all want to have. They want to have conversations with their daughters and their sons, and they just don't know how. So
Hmm.
anything we can do to do that, that's a whole nother. we could
Yeah.
talk about that every day.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that I'm glad that we can talk about.
Yeah,
Um, and it's gonna be cool to get perspectives for all of us, like just to get our emotions out there, learn
yeah,
how to talk to each other, and how to talk to ourselves, and how to like remind and ourselves that we're valuable and we have worth just for existing. And I think that's where a lot of the hatred and resentment comes from, is people
yeah.
don't
Self-loathing. Yep.
value themselves,
Yep. Yep.
and they've been told to hate themselves so much
Yes.
that they don't value themselves or anybody else around them. um, and so they just lash out,
Yep.
and it's not an excuse for them. I'm not excusing their behaviors. I'm just framing the behavior as we can do better by showing the examples of what
Yeah.
better looks like, and that it's not weakness to talk about feelings, it's strength, because it takes a lot to talk about your feelings. It takes a lot to express yourself. It's purposeful. It drains your emotional tank to talk about hard things, and it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like,
And your relationships can always be better, no matter how good you think they are. And
yeah,
why not spend every day of your life ensuring you have a better relationship with your kids and that you're more supportive for them and for your spouse and all your friends? Why not make that the dedication, the thing you look for in your life? Just be better every day. And it just, even if it's just a little progress, and then you start
yeah,
seeing what is possible and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and everything changes. And it takes us a huge amount of propaganda, hate propaganda, to put us in the state that we're in now, and people are open to these messages, but you would just
yeah.
have to open our mouths and talk about them.
Yeah, and even if you only better yourself, like say 0.5% a day, like you're 0.5% better than you were the day before. In 200 days, you're
Yeah.
100% better than you were
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Less than a year. In a year and a half, you're
Yeah.
you're 150% better than you were.
And
More.
that's the
Like
real tragic thing.
you're almost 200% by that point. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing, is if you just work on it small steps and you're willing to
Yes.
do it in small increments, you're going to make it.
Yep.
You're going to make it. And it's not as hard as you think if you do it in small steps.
And that's the real tragic thing, is people don't realize, because that time's going to pass one way or another. It's just like, just resolve yourself. We'll get it done. And it's how quickly things can get better. Because when you get down into despair, you're like, there's no way out of this. It's impossible.
Mhm.
But if you just change that, focus on positive action moving forward, you'll be astonished how quickly it actually does come. It doesn't seem possible how quickly things can turn around. I assure
Yeah.
everybody it can, very, very fast.
Yeah.
Good thing to be mindful of as we head into 2026.
Yeah. If you've never looked into mindfulness therapy and like emotional distress tolerance and behavioral distress tolerance therapies, now is your chance to look into those, even for free. Is find some free tools to help yourself, like learn simple steps one at a time on how you can better yourself for yourself, and then be willing to talk about it with people. Like, the beauty of Substack and the beauty of being able to find and build this wonderful community around us and with us and add into this community all the time is the engagement and the feedback and the authenticity, and
Yeah.
just the allowing us to let our ideas out there and be willing to grow and willing to have a therapy session almost every time we talk with each other, not on purpose, but just because we're willing to talk. Um,
Yeah.
and it's okay that friends talk about their emotions, friends talk about their emotions with each other.
Yeah.
Friends help each other, friends tell each other when they're wrong, friends tell each other when they're right.
Yeah.
Friends give you positive and negative feedback, but they're willing to give you constructive feedback. And I think last week our show with Evan and Dr. Eric was a great way to give constructive feedback to each other,
Mhm.
and model that for others. And one of the great constructive things that Walter likes doing is showing off artwork for his daughter, or his daughters, which is where the background of our show comes from, is artwork from Walter's daughters. And I'm going to hide the QR code in the corner so we can fully see that one. Is we've got these two wonderful pieces of art on the background. Our title screen is also a piece of artwork from Walter, and family. And I wanted to show off something my daughter did. I got to take a picture of it. And so I'm going to show off my daughter drew this wonderful eye. She's in this phase of learning to working on eyes and like proportions and how to get different like shadings into it,
Yeah.
and make it humanistic, and lifelike. And she's really starting to get all
Yeah.
the difference, like the different proportions. And I just thought I'm a proud dad. She's
Yeah,
doing
it's
such an
fantastic.
amazing piece of art, and I love it so much.
Yep, and it looks like colored pencil, and she went from darker shading to lighter shading, and it's just fun. It's so fun to experiment with that. I sat down with my daughters and taught them how to shade, with just a pencil. You do like a block, and it's like from dark to light, so they learn how to shade. And those are just wonderful memories, things like that with your kids. So sit down and it's so relaxing. In 2025 has showed us anything, it's like we need things that make us relax. Sit with your
Yeah,
kids and color with them. Color with you can do wonderful things with crayon, watercolor, anything you do, and it is such a relief to sit there. It helps you forget about toxic social media and the news. Have some quality
yeah,
time with your kids.
yeah. Like I spent a lot of time this weekend building with Legos with
Yeah.
my
Oh,
son
yes.
and his friend and my daughter. And my daughter's more of a reclusive. She likes to hide in her cave. And she's our little silent ghost. She would be a great ninja. Like you can't hear that girl coming.
Good.
She
Good.
she gets right up behind you, and you're like, "Holy shit, where
Nice.
did you come from?" Um, and but she came out and she'd showed off her artwork, and then she'd come play with Legos with us. And I'm actually building a new stand for my microphone,
Oh,
right
nice.
now, out of Legos. So
Oh, okay.
I'm having fun while I'm doing it. Hold on, let's go back to the last screen just for a second.
You always got to get your kids some Legos for Christmas, no matter what. Yeah, no matter how
So
old they are.
I'm
Beautiful.
building this mechanism right now
Awesome.
that is going to be a tilt stand in the end.
Oh
I'm going to
boy.
simplify it, but right now all the gears turn and everything moves on the inside, but nothing on the top rotates. But it's going to be like a gear stand, so my mic can stand more at an
Nice.
angle. I like,
Jandro said his mom taught her art and calligraphy when he was young. I can't tell, but that's another great one. Calligraphy
mhm.
is a wonderful thing, and that's a great skill to have.
My aunt writes in calligraphy, like
Oh,
that's her standard handwriting.
yeah,
Um,
awesome.
and
You should have her do
it's
some
kind of amazing.
titles for us. Have her do some titles for us and things like that, or have her
Oh,
do
that'd be
some your
so cool.
notes, and then just put your notes on your Substack. That's beautiful. I love seeing that stuff.
That would be so cool. Maybe I'll have to get my daughter to learn calligraphy so
Oh,
that she
do
can
it, do
start
it.
writing notes and stuff. That'd
Yeah,
be so fun.
yeah. Get them
Um,
involved. Hi, Tom. I see Tom.
hey, everyone. It's so good to see y'all. We're just taking a quick break before we get into the nitty
Yeah,
gritty of like politics and shit going on. I think one of the things I'm trying to do in all of my shows right now is
yeah.
spread positivity on
You
purpose,
have to. Yeah,
and spread creativity and spread cultural upgrades. Like
yeah,
talking about your kids and not like revealing anything about them. I'm not revealing anything about my kids, but I'm talking about them. I'm happy that my kids are doing wonderful things. I'm proud of them,
yeah.
and I want to show off what they're doing if I can. Like I want to use this space to show off my kids and like have
Absolutely.
fun too while we do this. And Walter and I have talked a little bit about this, about doing some like just show pictures and new artwork and different things. And maybe we'll do a full on collage here one of these days soon, where we'll just show off different artwork, and then we'll talk into our notes more towards the end. But
Yeah.
I want to give people something positive to think about and look at and be able to be a part of too, because we have to be for something.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm for a future where creativity and intelligent masculinity means men come on podcasts and talk about how amazing they are, but also their families and their
Yeah.
kids and their nieces and nephews and cousins and sisters and brothers. And they just talk about how amazing other people are around them, and they uplift and they use their voices to uplift and build up rather than tear down. And it's
Yeah.
still something I work on at home too. Like, I'm not perfect in any way. I'm still working to be a better dad. I'm a very present dad, and I think I'm a very good dad. And my wife thinks I'm a very good dad. And my parents and my in-laws think I'm a good dad. So I think I'm a good dad. But I know I have room to grow still. I know there's so much I can do better. And to me, that's not a bad thing. That I'm not afraid of wanting to be better. It just means I have more work to do, and I can learn more on the way. And maybe my kids will benefit from it while I do it. And so I want to add to their happiness. Um, and in the chat, we've got from
Yeah.
Grammy Phil. I
Yeah. It's
wanted to
great.
say this earlier, but I'm a slow typist. Unfortunately, we teach male children that the only feelings that are okay to express are happiness and anger. All negative feelings, sadness, frustration, etc., are channeled into anger. Be a man and suck it up. Boys don't cry, etc. It's time to
Yeah.
change the messaging. Yeah, boys, men, it's okay to cry. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay to let out your feelings, and it's okay to learn the words around your feelings. And one of those I figured out was it's like the feelings wheel. I'll pull up a link sometime. But it's this color coded wheel of feelings, and it starts out in the center with very broad descriptions of like happy, mad, sad, the like major anxious, things like that, major areas. And outing
Uh-oh.
this
We're getting some
cat
feedback here. Are you cutting? You're cutting out a little
stories
bit there,
from
Nick. Okay, he's back. He cut out on me. Yep, you're back.
back now,
Yeah,
guys.
sorry about that.
Sorry, my connection dropped just a moment.
Oh,
So going back to the feelings wheel, it goes from general feeling to more specific feelings as it goes further out. So you can talk, and they
yeah.
each connect. So it's like I'm frustrated. I feel like I'm mad because really I'm frustrated and
Yeah.
concerned, or I'm frustrated and I'm really disappointed on the other side. So you can see where like your sub emotions, what are actually you're feeling. And we've used that with my son
Yeah.
specifically because he's a lot like me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Is I had I had to learn how to talk about my feelings, just like every man and needs to, just like every woman needs to, and every girl needs to, and every boy,
Yes.
every person
Yeah.
needs to learn how to talk about their feelings. Men need to stop being told suck it up.
Yeah.
um,
And
and
it's
I need to work on that too myself. Like, we all need to continue to work on it and call ourselves out when we don't do well enough so that we can grow. Hey, Eric, welcome.
good to
So,
see
Grammy Phil,
JR
thank you for
too.
that wonderful comment.
I was going to say too, and it ties into so much that's going on today because we're seeing, I mean, hate had a huge victory in the United States in the last election, and it's all built on that. And the way hate works is it divides, it undermines and erodes all your strong relationships with the people you care about. It ties into the how so much of the United States is homophobic, where and I knew when I was growing up, like any sign of affection towards other boys, and they were like gonna attack you, and it's just like all these things have to be changed and transformed. And once we just get to that, like we have to understand that controlling our emotions is control of us. That's,
Mm-hmm.
suppressing our emotions is control. That's what they want to do. They want us to just sit there and be obedient to this hate ideology. And so, yeah, let's imagine a world where Nick and I are just sitting here talking about positive stuff. I mean, imagine that. If we don't have to talk about any of these horrible things going on, we're just sharing drawings our kids made. Holy cow, but we got to make it yet. We got work to do to get there. I'm here for it. Roll up my sleeves.
Yeah.
I'm going to have
Yeah,
that world.
we got work to do, and soon we will get to the point. It's going to take a while, but soon enough in our lifetimes, for all of us, we are going to get to this point where Walter and I are just sitting here talking about our kids and our grandkids and our friends' kids and our friends
Yeah.
and the art and the creativity and the music and the just general positivity that comes out of the beauty of humanity, instead of the shit that we're about to start talking about, because we're going to shift gears here off the beauty of this eye.
Oh, so reluctant.
We're actually this. I think the eye is a good metaphor today, too. Good picture, because
all-seeing
we're
eye.
the all-seeing eye, and we are looking to release the truth.
Yes.
And Walter and I both put out some notes this week that were around last week's Epstein drop.
Yeah.
And Walter, I want you to go first. Both our notes link into each other, so this will be a smooth conversation on it. But there's so much to fucking say. So Walter, I'll hand it over to you, my friend.
Perfect. I'll read this. At this point, everybody knows the GOP protects criminals and pedophiles. What people haven't yet come to recognize is that the DNC also protects criminals and pedophiles. We have to make people understand that. The whole thing has to come down. The DNC has supported candidates accused of sexual misconduct as recently as November, and that can never happen again. And boy, this whole week, and it's like everything has been changing so quick, you know. And I wrote this article because obviously we knew the GOP was going to do this. They put Clinton prominently in their first, load of files that they released. So there was instantly, you see how the narrative is designed to be manipulated, where the GOP is playing on our tendencies, and they think that what we're going to do, and they anticipate that we're going to react the way they're going to react, where we're going to start, defending our own, in quotes. And so that's why that was really important for us to say, look, we can't make assumptions here. If there's pictures of him, because you're seeing people saying, well, I think that picture of Clinton is Photoshop. And some of the stuff that they released was deliberately misleading, where they were releasing photos of people with their families, but they blocked out the kids. So it's like, we know what this photo is, and they're doing this deliberately. But I keep saying to people, it's like, one of the things I learned in my science classes, because I'm a physics teacher as well. I'm an English major and a physics minor. And what that taught me was it was really important to be deliberate in our thinking and to not make assumptions. And so much of politics is, they want to defer to these assumptions. Well, that's been settled, there's no need to look into it any further, because there's so much that's being hidden. And so it's our job to just continually have the pressure. Everybody named in those files needs to come forward and demand more transparency. They just have to say it. We can't assume that any of them are innocent. And it's funny because people have been saying innocent until proven guilty, and it's like, well, that applies. This is a criminal investigation is what we're looking at here. So innocent until proven guilty no longer applies. We're looking at the files that prove guilt, so and they're covering things up. So we should really be assuming guilt because these people are appearing in these files. And we need the people that, that are innocent in the files to start and tell us what they know, because they're sitting there being quiet. Later in the week, Clinton came forward and said, he's like, look, either release it all or release, none of this trickle out stuff. That's what we need. We need to put pressure on actors like Bill Clinton, other people that are in the files to insist. They say, you have to show everything. You're misrepresenting what's in there. Show it. This pressure has to continue, and we can't make assumptions about anything. We can't assume anybody, we don't assume that they're innocent. Make sure we see the actual evidence. So we have to get to the actual facts.
Yeah. And we're not jurors here. This is the court of public opinion. I don't have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. However, when criminal evidence comes out that is beyond a reasonable doubt, that a grand jury has had looked into and criminal courts have looked into on people already, well then, like, and they have, people have been arrested and sent to jail for, like,
Yeah.
it's no longer questioning, it's just pointing out this has happened. And if, yeah, and if the, if you're innocent in it and your picture is coming out, say something. Just
Yeah.
go, here's everything I know. Put it
Yes.
out there for free for everybody to read, to hear, to see. Tell your story and tell the truth, not for
Yeah.
profit, but so that you can get the story out there to help these women and survivors and the men
Yes.
who were boys and the women who were girls at the time, because we need to stop protecting criminals. Guilty, innocent until proven guilty does not mean protect criminals over victims.
Yeah.
It means we just have to prove without a reasonable doubt that the crime happened. That doesn't mean I need to downplay the significance of your actions or say, as a lawyer or prior fixer for the Trump regime, Michael Cohen, don't downplay the release of
Yeah.
photos and evidence and make up
Yeah.
alternative facts around what happened with the sale of a property in, I think it was the Palm Beach property,
Yeah.
um, where Trump sold out from Epstein. Basically, he bought out he underhanded a property out from underneath Epstein so that there could be Russian mob money laundering. And then you going out there, Mike, while we were on a live and lying to us and telling Zev
Yeah.
Shalev that he should choke and he's a fucking terrible journalist, which fuck you, dude, because he's not. That
Yeah.
dude's been researching the Epstein events and the money laundering for 10 fucking years.
Yep.
You, Michael Cohen, were assisting fixing during some of that time. So it would be appreciated, dude, if you came out and said the fucking truth,
Yeah. But Matt,
because we need to stop protecting criminals and pedophiles. The GOP is a gang and criminal syndicate of pedophiles. Like, that is who the GOP is. That's what they've become. They protect pedophiles, they launder money, and they're a criminal syndicate. The DNC isn't much better. Michael Cohen, you're proving that it's not much better by
yeah.
defending Trump about him not being a fucking pedophile or not having much Russian money laundering. And if you know something, fucking come forward,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Like, now's the fucking time. And you'll earn my respect and you'll earn people's respect back. Like, nobody attacked any of us in that show on Thursday night. Nobody attacked any of us except for you, Mike. And then the entire audience came back and has been consistently asking, what the fuck did you do? Why are you lying?
Yeah. I don't know why people are supporting him. I mean, and yeah, it's like what you see too is power always tries to manipulate this narrative. And they
Mm-hmm.
want us to go from one narrative to some other narrative they control. And we can't, like, the general public can't sit there and be like, well, because it's not what we know to be a lie, then we've aligned on the truth. There's an infinite number of lies. There's only one truth. And so power
Mm-hmm.
deflects. And like I said in this note, I mean, we have to put pressure on the DNC too, because people were saying, they were telling me, well, don't go back with Clinton. And it's like, look, I'm not happy with Bill Clinton. I mean, a 49-year-old married man should not have an affair with a 22-year-old intern who then becomes suicidal. I think that's sexual misconduct. And that's the Clinton story. And that's one of the things. It's like, we just have to move on and not defend him. And at some point it's like people want to preserve their legacy, but the reality is they're not good people. They want to keep on to this legacy that they're a good person, but it's for the good of humanity, the good of humankind. It's time for accountability. We have to hold the people that have done bad things accountable. The fact about Michael Cohen is his actions hurt a lot of people during his life. And for some reason, he's trying to pivot and have this new narrative of himself, even though he's not fully committed, because he'll attack journalists who are asking very reasonable and important questions, and he can help. He has answers where he could help, but he's not going to give those answers at the expense of this new, narrative he's trying to create about himself. And those of us on the other side, because there's a temptation to just be like, fine, you just become resigned. It seems like power can never be defeated. Fine, we'll just do what they say, And they always, powerful people, there's that guy, I think, on CNN who's always like, well, it's clearly this is the case. Clearly this is the case. And it's like, we don't have the evidence to say that, and that's, we can't be pushed into all these assumptions that they're trying to make. We just have to keep demanding more and more stuff be released. There was another story I saw too, where apparently a lot of the stuff that was redacted, all they did was they put like a highlighter.
Oh yeah, it's so easy to so easy to undo. Like, and I think thank fucking God.
I think to some extent, I think there are some that are incompetent, but I think there are also heroes that are like, I'm going to hide it like this. And it's like, I'm not logged in. There's nothing that shows that it's me logged into this computer. I'll do this work, knowing that the people out there are going to find it and be able to expose. It's like, oh, they just highlight over the text. You can cut and paste and put it in a different thing and read what was they attempted to hide. And then they've been redacting things that were released elsewhere. So there's a lot of people working there to present the truth. It's coming out slowly. But all of us watching here, we just have to keep the pressure up. Don't fall into any of these pressure tactics that we have to stop asking certain people questions, or we need to leave certain people alone, or these people are on our side, they can't be guilty. All that's off the table. The only thing we're thinking about now is full transparency, releasing all the evidence that we have, pushing people who are there so that they feel pressure and they provide even more evidence. And this dam's going to break. I don't know what's going to happen. But there's a big structure of corruption that needs to come down. And this is maybe the one time in history where we've had the power to really go after it. And all it's going to take is our persistence.
Yeah. And for the question in the chat of when did this happen or what was going on, quick recap of where we were bringing Michael Cohen in on this was there was an interview last week on Thursday when Trump made his speech, that 19-minute bullshit, just weak ass speech that he did last week. Lies and lies and lies. Zev Shalev, I was on with Lev Parnas, Zev Shalev, Ellie Leonard, and Michael Cohen at the time. And Zev was able to ask Michael some questions around the Epstein case, specifically Katie Johnson. And he lied to us. He lied to us. He didn't tell us. He said things that were factually incorrect, and Zev Shalev put it out the next day, including asking for clarification from Michael, because Michael went and attacked Zev personally. He attacked Tara Palmieri personally during the interview. He lashed out at personalities. He did the Trump bully tactic of going after personalities and name calling and not actually talking about any of the facts or the information, and deflected. And it's really unfortunate because Michael Cohen, you have a huge platform. You're part of, you're best friends with Ben Meiselas over at Midas Touch. You two could literally be sitting there talking about this shit and revealing the truth every fucking day, and you choose not to. I watched your show that you did the day after, and you didn't even fucking mention any of it. You barely mentioned any of it. It's disrespectful to the rest of us who are putting in the effort to try and put out the truth and release truth and information. And it's disrespectful to any of us who are out here saying we need allies that care. And we need allies in platforms that are larger than ours, because Walter and I don't have 5 fucking million subscribers yet, but they do. And you are basically the spokeswing of the DNC. You could be sitting there pushing the message and pushing the platform of what the DNC is talking about, sexual misconduct. And why was the DNC so pro whatever that fucking mayor candidate was? Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo. Why are we? That dude had proven sexual misconduct, and multiple other allegations. We need to be better. James
Yeah.
Carville, like people like James
Oh, that
Carville
guy.
who play this shit down, Michael Cohen, James Carville, you your voices were important at one point. You're not right now. You're
Well,
fucking hurting the narrative and you're fucking hurting the cause by downplaying shit and being racist and being
yes.
sexual assholes who think they can just abuse other people and bully them into their viewpoint. Fuck
Yes.
you. Your
Yep.
view isn't good enough. Zev
Yep.
Shalev is a real journalist. He is not a scumbag. He should not choke. And you, sir, need to fucking issue an apology to him for the shit that you did, for
Yeah.
lying to us. And you should come on for another episode with Zev and tell the fucking truth. If you
Yeah.
want any of our fucking respect ever again, you lost all my respect, Michael. I canceled. I had been paying for your subscription because you had a mea culpa, because you had been doing the right thing. But every time you downplay the importance of releasing the Epstein files and discussing the pedophilia and the disgusting acts that were happening,
Yeah.
you lose my respect even more. And then you lost it completely when you lied in front of us. And when I pushed back on you, you still couldn't admit the fucking truth. You still couldn't admit that you used the wrong fucking person as an example because you said, here's Lev Parnas. He's a great example of what it looked like to not be a Russian mobster in the 90s. Lev Parnas was a fucking mobster, Russian mobster in the 90s. He admits it. I have no shade on Lev Parnas because Lev comes out and talks the fucking truth. And Lev is actually working hard and revealing things and isn't part of the Epstein files. And Michael, if you are in there somewhere more than just what has been revealed, if you want any accountability that isn't going to like hurt your professional and personal life because it'll be criminal, is you should fucking come out and be a full whistleblower and tell the fucking truth.
Yeah.
And then we'll have some respect. But Zev Shalev, you got all my respect because you're a fucking hero who's doing work and is not a bad journalist and does incredible investigative work to reveal criminals and pedophiles and this syndicate that is going on. And while Zev Shalev, Ellie Leonard, and Lev Parnas were live on Saturday, after, and this is where my note will come in, is on Saturday, they found that files had been removed. And so on Friday, I had been looking at the redactions and I said, have you ever wondered what a cover up looks like? It's the heavily over redacted Epstein files that were just released today. That was on Friday. And then Ellie Leonard, Zev Shalev, and Lev Parnas broke the news on the Lev and Dean Blundell's regular Saturday show that they had removed images and information after it had been dropped from the first dump that included Trump's name. And however, Ellie and Zev Shalev both have copies of that because they're investigative journalists who are downloading all of this shit and analyzing it and going through it and looking for all the connections and spending all their fucking time trying to break through the cover up because they keep saying cover-ups are worse than the crime. Well, this crime is pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
And the cover-up is pretty serious too. And I'm really hoping that the power that this community is building because of folks like Ellie Leonard and Zev Shalev and Lev Parnas and ourselves is I hope that Representative Ro Khanna was contacted about it right away. I know that they talked about it and that they've been building on this and that they know that files have been removed. And they did a piss poor job at redacting. And I think it was on purpose. And I'm going to just put that out there. I think there, like you said, there are some heroes out there who, and I didn't go into that earlier because I wanted to wait to go into it while we were, as we shifted this note. So this note still made a lot more sense is I think a lot of those files and the reason they're so easily unredactable is because folks are in the FBI purposely did a bad job.
Yes.
There are folks in the FBI who are purposely doing, it's called weaponized incompetence. They did the least amount of effort possible to do the most amount of damage. And that damage is making sure that you can just copy paste the fucking Epstein files into a note taker and it removes the redactions.
Yeah.
Like, wow, dudes. Wow. Like, seriously, thank you. Thank you. Whoever you
That's
are in
brave
the
too, man. Those
FBI,
are unsung heroes. Those are the people that
yeah,
are saving this
they'll
country.
never
and stuff
get
like that.
they'll never get public recognition for what they have
Hopefully
done.
they'll never be found out because their lives are at risk. And so thank you
Mhm.
for that. That was
Yeah.
amazing. So
Yeah, and we have to thank them. Like, we've been asking for that. Like, people have been talking about it like, oh, should wonder if this has happened, probably incompetence that led to it. How about we look at the positive of it and maybe we assume the best intent in some of this is we have been putting it out there for months and months and months, and even the fucking right-wing MAGA has been putting it out there for years
Yeah.
that someone needs to leak the Epstein files and
Yeah.
someone needs to get the truth fully out there because this is an issue that crosses all
Yeah.
bounds. I
Yeah.
don't care what your politics are. If you think pedophilia is good, get the fuck out of my life.
Yeah.
And if you're covering up for pedophilia, get the fuck out of my life.
Yep.
Like, pedophilia is wrong in
And this
every
is even
fucking
bigger
way.
than that.
This is even bigger than that.
It's the actual, I mean, it's not just the inclination, it's the actual abduction and rape and just brutal
And then they
rape.
just defunded the DOJ just defunded the sex trafficking investigative unit. Like, nothing says protect the children quite so much. And that was, I was going to put, I almost thought about using that note. I put it out last night. I might even just show it was like, we're using this lie that like, nothing says protect children, like defund the fucking arm of the government that looks into child abductions and sex trafficking. Like,
and all the professions that they said are no longer professional, they were all mandated reporters. I mean, it's not hard to see. Yeah, they're just protecting brutal child rapists. And these people that present themselves as our allies, but then become furious when we ask certain questions. And that's such a tactic of abuse, narcissistic abuse, and which is what we're facing. How dare you even ask that? It's like, well, that's not an answer. You know, they're trying to pressure us into those corners. I want to get back. Somebody mentioned they were wondering about James Carville, and I'd been talking about that all last week because it feels like, and I think the guys we have to be afraid of are these kind of establishment guys that people are inclined to say, well, that person's no longer relevant, because there are super PACs that still pay him, you know, so donation money still gets funneled to that guy. It's a little bit hard to find because they kind of disguise it. And what he did, he came out really hard against Jasmine Crockett, and I was talking about that. And Arturo Dominguez mentioned that when Obama was running, he said he told Obama to go take a toke off a crack pipe. And so the DNC can't have these blatantly racist people. I was saying it's really up to Tallarico to say, look, that guy can't make racist statements. I mean, that's not the kind of primary we're going to have here. You know, other Democrats have to come forward and silence that guy because you're pushing away voters, and the DNC has been doing this. I still feel that a large contingent within the DNC sabotaged Kamala Harris. The more you look into things like that, they don't. And I think it's because she's a former prosecutor and she went after child traffickers. And I think there are prominent people throughout our government. And here's the other crazy thing when you sit and think about it, because people are always pressuring us, you know, and it usually comes from the center. Oh, we have to appeal to the right. You know, we have to listen to their point of view. But what has the right been saying this whole time? They've been saying the government's been run by child traffickers. I mean, there is the contingent that, so they've actually been oddly turned out to be more accurate than I wanted it to be. There's a contingent of racists, there's a contingent of horrible people, but there are many among the right who have been mad about this, who have been suspicious of this child trafficking ring for a long time. And so then all of a sudden it's like, well, you know, we need to reach out to them, but not on that, you know? And so we have to look for those false actors on both sides of the aisle who don't want the truth to come out.
Yeah, and you made a really important point that I think it's on James Tallarico, that you think it's on James Tallarico to come back against what Carville said, and I totally agree because
Hmm.
it's what McCain did when Obama
Yeah.
was running, and that woman said some really nasty racist thing about him
Yes.
without really thinking, and McCain was like, John McCain during a presidential run said, "No, we're not going to talk about him like
Yeah.
that. He's a good man."
Yep.
He's a good person. He is. I'm just against some of his political ideas.
Yep.
I don't think he's a bad human being, and I think he would make a good president too. I just don't
Yes.
agree on his policies.
Yeah.
And that right there, that was politics.
Yep.
That was
And I
like
think
West Wing style politics. That
yes.
was what we all envision and like romanticize politics to be. And that's what it can be.
Yeah. And I think that moment defined the reaction of the last 10, 12 years of the Republicans. I think they look at that moment of decorum and say, well, that's what caused us to lose. I think that's what the Republicans say. So they've done the exact opposite this whole time, and it's brought us to this just hellhole. Hi, Kat.
Yeah. Yeah. And hey, everyone, welcome. So glad you're all joining us again today for Notes of the Week. I miss John McCain types too,
Yeah.
mostly
Man,
because
please.
I
Well, he hated
miss,
Russia for one thing. He was
yeah,
anti-Putin, and he brought it up a lot. And I didn't agree with a lot of his stuff, but a couple things like that. Like at least he
yeah,
was like anti-torturing people. I mean, for the
I
love of
miss,
God, we don't have enough politicians who are like that anymore.
yeah, I miss when we had politics that was actually, that had a center line of we will at least
Huh. Yeah.
follow the Constitution and we care about that and we can work from there. And McCain, I disagreed with him on many things, but he was at least a good person. He wasn't going to destroy our fucking government and
Yeah.
tear it down.
Oh man.
And he actually valued the healthcare. He helped save the ACA from being dismantled. That's one of the reasons that fucking Trump hated him so much. Um,
Yeah.
and but I'm not reflecting on that we need more McCains now. What we really need is the Republican Party to disintegrate. We
Yeah.
need the
Yeah.
we need the GOP and the Democratic
Yep.
Party in the
I
long
was
run
gonna
to
say that.
disintegrate
We
because
need the
they,
progressives.
yeah, they're not made for the moment. They're not,
Yeah.
they are legacy parties. They have legacy opinions. They have legacy needs. They want to just sit and not do anything.
And things like
And
Pelosi
this,
with her trading. I mean, that insider trading thing of Pelosi is just blatant corruption. I mean, that you look at
mhm,
the graphs where she's like outperformed everybody over the last, and she's. I mean, that's just unacceptable. We can't have that in our party. And how can we go out into the field and convince Republicans to vote our side when they can bring up those examples and we don't denounce them in our party? You know, and Carville
yeah,
too. I was calling him an 1850s era Democrat because he looks like he just walked off a plantation, and it's just like
yeah,
we have to denounce the blatant racism of the people that are the established old guard within our party and the
yeah,
corruption. And that's what the
yeah, and
Epstein thing should allow us to do, but we have to have our courage and push it through, keep pushing, because they're going to
yeah,
squeal. They're going to be mad at us. They're going to
they
insult
are.
us and come after us.
They are, and that's one of the reasons. Like we have to. You also have to remind people who is causing all of this to happen, which is Republicans. The regressive Republican Party is causing human trafficking and child sex trafficking and rape and
Yeah.
pedophilia and money laundering and human sale slavery, chattel slavery,
Yeah.
basically, of children, because that's what this is. This is slavery. They are children who are being enslaved into sex trafficking and
Yeah.
sold to the highest and or lowest bidder at times. Like
Yeah.
this is slavery. We should just start calling what is happening is slave trade. This is child slave trade, and they're removing the protections to prosecute people who are trading children for sex and
Yeah.
money.
And they're
That's
going door to door. They're grabbing people.
foul.
They're doing it right now. The U.S. government is grabbing people. They're violating their civil
Yes,
liberties. We don't know where they're getting sent to. They can't keep track of the children that have been stolen. I mean,
the family court
it's
system
going
is
on.
broken. Is a human trafficking center for so many kids. Our immigration system, DHS, is a human trafficking organization and is just trafficking children into slavery, into
Yeah.
sex slavery, into unknown slavery.
Yeah.
Like
The media's not
they're
covering it. I have a
they're
friend in
using
Minneapolis who's been protesting against ICE, and I'm trying to schedule to have him come on and talk about what's going on there, because after this attack on people from Somalia, they've been focusing their attention in Minneapolis. So this guy's seeing it out in the streets, and the media, of course. I mean, the media is not covering this. You guys, what's going on right now is just horrific. I've been, like I've put it in my Christmas letter to tell people, and that's another thing we have to do. We have to push through those social norms that prevent us from sharing this information. We can't rely on the media. You sure as hell can't rely on guys like Michael Cohen or these other like new media who pretend to be redeemed, but are really just trying to present or preserve some sort of a, or enter into the power vacuum that's going to be left behind. And yeah, it's just going to take a massive, complete structural reimagining of our whole system, our political system, our media system. But things right now are bad. They are very bad. And don't anybody try to, don't be a participant in the cover up. That's all we can ask of anybody.
yeah,
Keep
yeah,
demanding to get to the bottom of this.
yeah, and keep demanding people like Michael Cohen tell the truth,
Yeah.
because
He
he has
needs
a huge
pressure.
platform. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to use our platforms as a form of social pressure. People have asked me before, like, why don't you message folks personally? Why don't you do these things?
Yeah.
Well, because if I message someone personally on something like this, it's probably just going to get ignored. There's going to
Yeah.
be no comment or a rude response,
Yep.
and I have enough self confidence in what I'm doing, and I have enough confidence in the community around me to know that if I say something that is truthful and pushing back on somebody who is lying, the community has my back. And if I'm
Yes.
willing to call somebody out for not doing enough, just like Shane Urich does all the time, he tags Midas Touch a lot on the failures of what they're not doing enough of, where they're
Yeah.
just being a microphone instead of using the power that they have to drive messages and narratives and drive action. Michael Cohen, you could drive action. You could drive you could help drive this, but you're acting more like James Carville and a dinosaur and getting in the way,
Yeah.
because there's something to hide and you're not letting the truth out.
Yeah.
And if you're protecting child slavery,
Yeah. Fuck.
you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. Slavery is bad.
Yeah.
We should all know this. And that's what I'm going to start calling it from now on. Is
Yeah.
I'm not going to refer to it as just child sex trafficking or human trafficking. This is slavery.
Well, and just the
We
brutal
need to start
rapes,
using the words.
and they die. I mean, these kids, you look into that too. These kids that have been brutally raped by these powerful men, they die, they commit suicide, they have all kinds of things that happen. It's so hard to recover from that. And so just the consequences of this, it's so extreme, and so it's just so big. And I do want to pivot though to our power, because what we really have seen in this last year, and it has felt often that we don't have any power, but the power is in that resistance. I'm coming to believe that a little bit more, quite a bit more, because I'm seeing it in practice. And we see our politicians, they feel us, even if they don't, they're afraid of us. People who are powerful are afraid of us. So the more we speak out, the more we make it known. All the people here, you make your calls to your representatives, you go out and demonstrate, do those little acts. And even though we're up against this big, horrible, terrible thing, that power works. The only thing that makes us fail is if we capitulate and if we act like, oh, this will never be overcome. That's not even worth considering or imagining. And we're seeing that we have that power. It's coming true. And I didn't believe it before. I believe it now. Just keep holding the faith. We got to stand up for our kids, stand up for what's right and true, keep putting pressure in all the right places. And little by little, that stronghold of abuse that exists in this country is going to erode, and it's going to collapse. We just have to keep going forward. And just thanks everybody for enduring this year and getting to this point. And I hope you're feeling that power, because we are getting stronger, and this regime has already passed its moment of peak power. So just in 2026, things will be better. The primaries are our first chance to just and the Democrats are pissed because there are all these progressive challengers to like safe seats, and they're getting mad about it. And it's because they know that they're threat to this false structure that they've created and that they relied on, where people like Carville are allowed to blatantly say racist things and then laugh at us because we can't, he doesn't think we can do anything about it. We can do something about it. And
Yeah.
we're finding that out. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, we can do something about it. And that's something about it that we are doing is we're going to talk about it relentlessly. We're going to continue to call these fucking people out because that's what it's going to take. Like courage is doing something even when you're afraid or
Primary
even
start
with
in March.
fear. And it's courageous right now to speak out, to use your First Amendment to its fullest in the most peaceful and patriotic ways possible. And that's what I think Walter and I are trying to do. And what it's going to prevent is what it's going to help do is it's going to help shift mentalities in this country around what it means to be a man, what it means to be a protective human being, what it means to be for something, because culture drives politics. And I'm tired of the culture of rape and slavery being a good thing in this country. Like, fuck that. Those are gross and those are disgusting. And the more we talk about it and the more we put this out there every fucking day, is if we flood the zone for democracy, democracy will win.
Truth.
Because, and if we flood the zone for intelligent masculinity will win. There's been a vacuum in those spaces. And that's why we lost them. It's because we let go of spaces for men, for democracy, for women, for transgender communities, for the gay communities. We lost those spaces because we abandoned them as the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party just said, you're going to vote for us because you like what we're doing and we're status quo and you're happy with that. Well, they lost them because you treat people like crap and people are going to leave. And so I know that if we treat people with respect and dignity and empathy, but call out bad values and hold people accountable for their actions, because actions have consequences. And if you get the natural consequences to your actions, you learn from those. The more we do it, the better we get. The better we all get, the better our society gets, the better Walter and I get. I'm not your dad, which is my title for today. Because I was on a show, I was on the Rant Act with Melissa Corrigan, and her tagline over on Banner and Backbone, my other publication, I'll sell myself a little, and Melissa Corrigan, is her tagline is your mom. And so mine was not your dad. So that we had a good theme going that day. But this is how one of the ways we help each other too, and we help build this message and get it out there, is we support each other. And we contribute to causes that we care about. And one of those causes I care about is Walter.
Thank you.
And
Sweet.
I want everybody to contribute and become a subscriber with Walter. He writes some incredible work.
Thank you.
He puts out some incredible art. His daughters put out incredible art. He's just a good guy. And I like hanging out with him. And so I think you all should too. So Walter, sell yourself, my friend, and how people can support you.
Thanks so much, Nick. And it's really because everybody knows the pressure of bullies. We all know that. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're going to try to do. But what we do back is the pressure. Like, we respond to that with the joy of community and by talking to each other and fortifying each other, because we're right. And they just want us to be silent and cowed and to not stand up for what we know to be true. And I just look at that in my own life. There's so many times you're pressured to take the lesser of two evils. And we need to enter into that stage of acting with integrity, picking the things we want. And I've so appreciated, Nick, this opportunity to talk to you through this whole year and this hard season. It's made it a lot easier. I've grown a lot. You've helped me so much. Yeah, I'll be talking to Kat later on today. But yeah, please, everybody, go check your subscriptions. Make sure you're not subscribed to people that are causing harm. And we've kind of talked through a couple of those people today. I mean, be very deliberate. The smaller stackers need your support a lot more than those guys that have millions and millions of dollars already. Please don't support those people, because the millionaires are going to be inclined to go for a status quo. The smaller stackers like Nick and I are going to be the ones who fight for equality for everybody, a completely whole new progressive change, where we get universal health care, we're not going to stop that. We're not going to be like people who already
I'm
get
not going to
their
poo-poo that
socialized.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, Kinzinger's getting his socialized medicine all of his life, but none of that for us. Everybody in politics gets that. That's never going to be us. We're going to push for the people, all the people. Together we rise. We all have to rise together. And that's that's living with integrity. That's what we have to do. It's the only way to go forward. Thank you so much, Nick, for helping me with this platform and creating this space to talk about that. Thanks all you wonderful people that are here for your support. I'll turn it over to you. I'm just going and going and going.
Thank you. No, I
Gotta
love
land the
it.
plane.
No, I love it. Thank you, Walter. I really appreciate the friendship that we've been able to make over this last few months. Like it's been really needed for me. And it's been really fun to get to know you. So thank you as always for just coming and grounding with me on these weeks. And come support me here at Sick of the Shit Publications too. Y'all come help build this space for us and with us and with me. I've got some really cool stuff that is going to be going on in the new year with some new projects with Beth Cruz and So for a new section in Sick of This Shit Publications called Time for Life, where we're going to be, it's really going to be a So and Beth section. And they're going to be putting out artwork and meditations and breathing techniques and more of the like self-healing and help stuff. And I'm going to be making sure all of Beth's meditations from our shows for our chronic illness discussions come out on there as well, because I want to use like my platform. My whole hope is to help grow this community and boost this with each other. Like I've been in enough workspaces where people get put down or people get hidden, me included, and I've been bullied enough through my lifetime from a child to an adult by adults in my entire life. So like fuck that, I'm done being bullied and I'm done being excluded. So I wanted to make a space that was inclusive for me and my friends and where we can all boost and grow with each other. And there's over 300 of you here on Substack right now, so which is a freaking amazing. Thank you so much for all of you being here with us. Please hit the subscribe button in the top left-hand corner if you're on Substack to subscribe to both Walter and myself for free. And if you have the ability to, please become a paid or founding subscriber. I dropped my founding price to $100 a year. If you would like to contribute with a larger pledge, or I have a 60% off forever sale going on right now too on my site. So please come support me at Sick of the Shit Publications. It's also what helps us get onto the rising lists, which helps spread the audience even more. So continue to come in with new paid subs, help us grow. This is what I do for work and livelihood, which is why I asked for some money at the end. But none of my stuff is paywalled. None of Walter's stuff is paywalled. And I'm getting closer and closer to the mark where I'll start releasing my classical music pieces too, more in full. So I want to be able to start using this platform to highlight those also. So Walter, thank you. Thank you for being with me as always. Thank you for talking through this, talking about the bullies that we can fight back against and how we can be a positive influence and push back.
And everybody be kind to yourself this holiday season. Be kind to yourself. Holidays are a little stressful for a lot of us, and don't go anywhere you don't feel you're safe and don't feel you have to do that. That's another form of bullying. We don't have to put up with that. But wishing you all a wonderful holiday season. Try to relax. I've been trying to put out happier stories lately, and you too, Nick. So great to see you and all these weeks.
Yeah, it's been so fun. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah for those who just finished celebrating. Happy Solstice. Happy birthday to my aunt from the other day. Happy birthday to everybody out there who has birthdays this time of year. Happy holidays just in general. Protect your emotional well-being. And protect your sphere of influence. And expand your sphere of influence. Talk about the things we've talked about here. Use these positive discussions. Use these discussions on framing, on how to talk about things in a way that really hits home. If like these are important topics that need to be discussed.
Yep.
We don't have to take religion and politics off the table anymore. They have
You
to
don't
be
have
on
to
the table.
you don't have to maintain anybody else's lie. That's not your burden. You can
Mhm.
be a
You
champion
protect
of the truth and
you
integrity.
protect
Do that.
yourself.
Yes,
You
do that.
protect your
Please,
emotional
please.
integrity and your moral integrity, and
And
by
it helps
doing that, you spread those.
and it helps everybody. It helps everybody. Together we rise, as we
Mhm.
say. And we do have that power, and they've made it clear. They overstepped. The bullies overstepped, and they're making it clear we're at a transformational moment in history, I think. So just keep with it, everybody, and be safe this next year, prosperous year.
Yeah. And we will probably see everyone next week. It'll be a fun show to close out the year, I think,
Oh,
and we'll
good. Yeah,
have a
we do have
great
one more
time.
day. I'm
And
getting lost in time.
yeah, it's almost the new year. So as always,
Still.
everyone, happy holidays, but also we are now done being sick of this shit, and we really are doing this shit.
Yes.
So come join us again next week. Walter, thank you so much. Everyone in the audience, thank you again. And please hit that